But to break it down quickly, simply, there are a number of different types of permaculture. Off the top, generally, permaculture teachers. That's who started all this. And then you have permaculture practitioners, which are people who are applying permaculture on the ground, in the landscape. Then you have permaculture designers. And permaculture designers are all consulting for others. Now, I think you can kind of be a permaculture designer without consulting. You're designing your own properties, but for the sake of simplicity, let's say permaculture designers are permaculture design consultants. And that's what teachers do. They train students to become permaculture design consultants. Now, whether you can turn it into a consultancy or not, that's up to you. Whether you have the skills and the marketing ability, and there takes a lot to actually go out and be a permaculture design consultant. But anybody can be a practitioner, and I've heard this before, and it used to kind of irk me a little bit because I went through the permaculture design course. I've been thinking about this a lot. I've read the manual a number of times. Some of the chapters, like the chapter on trees and energy transactions, I might have read that, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. But kind of irks me. It used to irk me a little bit where people say, well, my grandma used to practice permaculture. Well, no, she didn't. Permaculture isn't about gardening or any specific form of work on the landscape. What permaculture is about design. It's about creating a design using the various sciences. What you need to do is know the influences on that particular piece of property, be they climate or geography or soil type. There's a lot of influences that come into a specific area, and you can be 3 miles away and it's completely different. So it's learning these influences and using the scientific technique of experimentation to figure out what does that land want to grow. And in the permaculture sense, it's what does the land want to grow that'll benefit both humans and the ecology or wildlife. How can we share with the rest of life on the planet? And basically, we used to be a part of the ecology, but now we've become the dominant species by far. So it's about us changing our attitude and begin to share. Now I want to talk a little bit about permaculture practitioners. And a lot of times you might think that somebody that just has a simple garden is practicing permaculture, but I don't know if that's the case. We go back to this, how are we going to keep your little area as self-contained as possible, where the plants and the elements around, like the birds, the insects, the soil life, are all producing its own fertilizer for your crops. That's kind of a hard thing to do if you just got to have a simple garden. You have to bring in inputs of some type or another. But the real point of this discussion is a permaculture practitioner is really never finished with design. The main reason is because there's always changes happening, whether it be pests coming into the situation or diseases or who knows, your soil life can change, the climate can change. The climate is changing right now, I think rather in a big way. So you have to be kind of like at ready. And you're changing your design and your practice along with the changing conditions. So to just put out a design, a lot of, and new people will do this, and that's okay. They got to start, they got to get going, they got to start thinking about it. You put this design on a piece of paper, and maybe you don't even implement it, but you make this design and you think, okay, you dream about how all this can happen. But by the time you get that design implemented, if you are working on it, by the time you're done with it, something invariably has changed. And now you're going to have to react to it. And that's the permaculture part of this, the scientific part. You're going to begin an experimentation. And it's an ongoing experimentation. I don't think it's ever going to end. And with the changes as quick as they're happening now, man, you got to be quick on your feet and you got to adapt. So that's the kind of the talk I have and what I've been thinking about probably the last couple of days, and I just wanted to make a recording of it and share it on YouTube, and I thank you very much for watching. I know you can view a lot of different permaculture people right now on YouTube, and that's okay. You can watch them all. You don't have to watch mine at all, but if you're watching mine, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.